Hello, BookTube. This is the Opera Composer's Book Tag. It's an original tag by Just One Reader, and I watched him do this the other day and was amazed. And maybe a little intimidated because, yeah, I can sing, but you don't want to hear it. But I told him in his comment sections that I would go ahead and give it a try. I'm going to do it my own way, but I was fascinated by his answers and the creativity as well as the singing. So, you're all safe. I will not sing. So it's the opera composer's book tag, and he's chosen some I think that are among his favorites. And he starts out with BIZET. So I'm going to show an LP of each of the composers, and then hopefully that'll get me away from having to sing. And for this one here, I have Marilyn Horne and James McCracken in a Metropolitan Opera production of Carmen by Georges Bizet. And this is Leonard Bernstein and Deutsche Grammophon. So, absolutely, and there's I hope you can see that, Bernstein on the back. And for this, the prompt, make some room on my desk here, the prompt is a book author that is utterly exciting. So to go with that, I picked Bernard Cornwell. This one happens to be Sharp Sword. And this came out in, this is 1983. And it is Viking Press, New York. And Richard Sharp is once again at war, a war against Napoleon that depends not only on military strength and tactics, but on forces of cunning, cruelty, and secret intelligence. In Sharp's Sword, the fourth novel in Bernard Cornwell's exciting series, and the richest, most surprising, and suspenseful to date, the setting is in the elegant medieval city of Salamanca in western Spain. And here Cornwell weaves a web of captivating intrigue, with Sharp at the center, facing enemies known and unknown. And Sharp, you may remember many years ago, I think it was BBC, but knock over my knives over here, did a TV series with Sean Bean. I always enjoyed those. Should have figured out what the best way to leave room here was, but I didn't. So his next prompt and composer is Verdi. And then I picked here, this is Nabucco with Tito Gobi and let's see, Carlo Cava. This is Vienna Orchestra and Chorus conducted by Lamberto Gardelli. It's a London recording. And for the book, so it's a book that is very popular or famous and that you actually love. And for me, I know it's super famous and it's not high literature, but I absolutely love reading Louis L'Amour. This is The Riders of High Rock. It's a Hopalong Cassidy novel. This is Bantam Books, and this came out in 1993, this edition here. And there's Mr. L'Amour. I very much enjoy him. The next one, composer is Puccini. And, for an album, I picked Madama Butterfly. This has Leontine Price, Richard Tucker, Rosalind Elias, and it's Eric Leinsdorf. It's RCA Red Seal. And for the book, the prompt on the book is a book author that is romantic, exuberant, and enveloping. And for me, that would be La Morte d'Arthur. It's Sir Thomas Malory. I've got this Malory works here. So let's see here. This is an Oxford paperback. Oh, this thing had to come out a long time ago. 1978, not that long ago. It's originally published in the Oxford Standard Authors in 1954. So, yeah, this is not modernized English, but absolutely, if you see one of these old paperbacks cheap, might be worth grabbing. So then we have Rossini, And for that, I picked The Barber of Seville. This has Beverly Sills, Cheryl Milnes, Nikolai Gedda. So, let's see, it's James Levine conducting of the London Symphony Orchestra and the John Aldous Choir. It's an Angel record. We got our group on the back. And for that, Rossini, the prompt is a book in which rhythm features an important role. Oh, I struggled with this. And I thought it was going to be a bit of a cop-out if I chose poetry, but I ended up choosing poetry, and for this I picked Favorite Poems of Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, illustrated by Edward A. Wilson, which I love. This is a Doubleday volume, old thing here. Let's see. Looks like 1947 this came out. Garden City, New York. There you go. I have a song of Hiawatha, a courtship of Miles Standish. So it's the illustrations are just wonderful. Absolutely love this book. Let's see if I can do it without causing any damage to the book. So that's what I chose. So the next composer is Wagner. Richard Wagner, and for this I chose LPs that I just picked up. I've got tons of Wagner, but this is Tristan and Isolde, has Birgit Nilsson, and it's Sir George Solti conducting the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra. Again, it's a London. I have not. I've listened to this on CD, but I haven't listened to the LPs yet. I just haven't had a chance. But so the prompt for Wagner is an acquired taste, not for everyone. Now I love Wagner, but of course not everyone does, and his personal views on some things in life are reprehensible. But his art is his art. So I picked a book where I thought some of the author's views were somewhat reprehensible. Very difficult to read. I read and it's Fyodor Dostoevsky, and this is Crime and Punishment. I picked this edition, it's Michael R. Katz translation, because it has our good friend Steve Donahue and Open Letters Monthly as a cover blurb. I don't know if you can see that. So that sort of makes it a prized possession for me. When did this volume, it came out fairly recently, I think, in paperback. So this is 2018. I read, I think it's a 5-volume Joseph Frank biography of Dostoevsky, and just by the time I was done, I couldn't stand the guy. Just a horrible, horrible human being in so many ways, and yet the art is the art. I mean, yeah, but if you're going to read the Joseph Frank biography, which is magisterial, unless you've got a lot of time and a lot of patience, and it's not against the author, but I think they did a 1-volume edition that would probably be plenty. So after that, we have the prompt is Mozart. For this, I picked The Marriage of Figaro, Siepi della Casa. It's Vienna Philharmonic under Kleiber, and what was that here? This is a London recording also. And so his prompt for Mozart is virtuosic, and of course that's absolutely true. And for that, I picked the novel Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. It's always seemed to me to be in a virtuoso performance. I mean, I remember when I first read it, and I was just blown away. This is 2009, and this is Henry Holt and Company. And yeah, if you have not read Wolf Hall, it's just one of those books. So not much more to say about that. There's been plenty of reviews of this book on booktube. So if you want somebody who had an in-depth review, it would be pretty easy to do, I think. So the next composer, I have a wall of LPs, and I have more CDs than I can even count. And this tag made me realize there's some gaps. And one of those gaps is Donizetti. I have a compilation album here, an RCA Red Seal. It's not the highest quality album in the world, but it's the world's favorite grand opera. Leontine Price, Placido Domingos, Cheryl Milnes, Montserrat Caballé, Bergonzi, Moffo, Verret, the names go on and on and on. On here for Donizetti, they have a selection, Anna Moffo singing from Lucia di Lammermoor. So I need to up my game with multi-disc full operas with Donizetti, but gotta run into them first. So what's the prompt on Donizetti? A book author whose prose is charming, melodic, a tickler of your ear. For that, I picked a volume I have called the Essential Pritchett, Selected Writings of V.S. Pritchett. This volume has, it has autobiographical, travel, critical writings, and a selection of humorous and poignant short stories. And it's his short stories for which he's the most famous, and with good reason. Absolutely magnificent. And when you get these compilations of short stories, or this sort of a mixed compilation, if you don't have anything, grab them. They're worth reading. And finally, Leoncavallo. Now, again, where I have not got the full opera. I even looked at CDs, thought, well, I wanted to do just LPs on this, maybe I'll grab a CD. But in the end, I just went with the compilation album, and that's Pavarotti's Greatest Hits. And on here we have Leoncavallo Mattinata, and is that it? Oh, we have a Donizetti on here too. But anyway, really one great song. There may be more that I don't know about, but Leoncavallo I usually think of it as single song, Pagliacci. So the prompt is a potent, bold book. And for me, this is the travel writer, the biography of the travel writer, Patrick Leigh Fermor, by Artemis Cooper. And what a life this fellow led. A literary life, a military life. Just as... I wonder if they list all the time. Well, they got blurbs by Jan Morris on the back, Christopher Hitchens. Patrick Leigh Fermor's enviably colorful life took off when in 1934, at the age of 18, he decided to walk across Europe. Before the year was out, he had trekked through 9 countries and taught himself 3 languages, while his enthusiasm and curiosity for every kind of experience had made him equally happy in caves or country houses, among shepherds or countesses. At the outbreak of World War II, Leigh Fermor, who was living in Romania with his lover, Princess Balasha Cantacuzene, I'm probably butchering that name and I apologize, returned to England to enlist. As part of the intelligence corps, he became one of a handful of Allied officers supporting the Cretan resistance to the German occupation. In 1944, he commanded the Anglo-Cretan team that abducted General Heinrich Kreppe and spirited him away to Egypt. So they captured a Nazi general. And then it goes on and on. He wrote so many books. His celebrated trilogy, A Time of Gifts, Between the Woods and Water, and The Broken Road, which had been unfinished at the time of his death. I've got it downstairs. But it was wrapped up. And that's his European trip before the outbreak of the Second World War. But this biography, if you can find a copy, is absolutely wonderful. See if we get any pictures here. We got plenty of pictures. But I think just give you a sample. Hopefully you can see those. So, A Big Bold Life, wonderful writer. So this has been the Opera Composer's Book Tag. Absolutely challenging, great fun. I didn't have to sing at all, but I really appreciate it because it made me look at my collection and with a different view. Like to go ahead and tag another opera lover, Earnestly Eston, and obviously pass the tag along, and it's a good one if you want to do it. So with that, I'm going to go back outside and enjoy the sunshine. Thank you, BookTube.